Winning the lottery is a dream come true for many people. However, dreams sometimes become nightmares, just like they did for these lottery winners. From lavish spending to addictions, we count down 9 of the dumbest lottery winners of all time. Number 9. Callie Rogers. Back in 2003, Callie Rogers became one of the youngest and luckiest teenagers ever because at the age of 16, she won £1.9 million, which would be about £3 million today. While once known as the world's luckiest teenager, it was only a few years after her lucky win that all of her money was gone. Rogers spent all of her money on a combination of shopping, friends, vacation, and a few breast enhancements. She is now a single mother of 2 children and works as a maid to provide for her and her family. Due to all of the rapid spending sprees, she gained quite a bit of debt and is still paying it off. Number 8. Janet Lee. This lottery winner is a good example of how sometimes even the best of intentions can get way out of control. Lee, who is a South Korean immigrant, won $18 million from a Missouri lottery in 1993. She donated most of her winnings throughout the years to political organizations, educational programs, and a number of community services. Lee donated so much political money that Bill Clinton, Al Gore, and many other political figures would invite her to dinner from time to time. Life seemed pretty darn swell for Lee with political connections and money, but with a combination of philanthropy and an erratic gambling addiction, she lost almost all of her money. After having so much debt, she had to claim bankruptcy in 2001. Number 7. Jack Whittaker Jr. December 25th, 2002 was the luckiest day in the life of Andrew Jackson, aka Jack Whittaker Jr. for short. It was the day that the building contractor won $315 million in Virginia's state lottery. At the time of his winnings, he was a 55-year-old man living a fairly comfortable life with over $1 million in his bank account. He had a good job, a nice family, but everything changed after winning that money. Andrew Jack Jackson Whittaker Jr. did a lot of good with his winnings, and he donated over $15 million to charity. But he also had his fair share of bad deeds as well, which included drunk driving, bouncing checks, and the occasional inappropriate groping of women. As a result, he has had a string of bad luck since winning all of that money, including a divorce and the death of a daughter and a granddaughter. Now he is left with no fortune and no family, and has said that he wished he'd never won that money back in 2002. Number 6. Ken Proxmire. When Proxmire won $1 million, he was working as a machinist. These days, $1 million doesn't seem like that much, but to Ken Proxmire, it was a life-changing amount of money. After winning the lottery, he moved from Michigan to California and started a business with his brothers. With big dreams and only $1 million, Proxmire went through his money pretty quickly by making such extravagant purchases as helicopters and limousines. Nowadays, he is back working as a machinist and living a simpler, more affordable life. Number 5. Evelyn Adams. Everybody knows that the odds of winning a lottery are 1 in a million. So, when Evelyn Adams beat those odds and won the lottery 2 times, it was astronomical. It wasn't just that she had hit the jackpot twice, but the fact that it was back-to-back years in 1985 and 1986, winning a total of $5.4 million. Unfortunately, after winning all of that money, Adams developed a fairly serious gambling addiction and soon lost all of her money. Now, over 20 years later, she is broke and living in a trailer home. Number 4. Suzanne Mullins. In 1993, Mullins won the lottery and chose to get paid in yearly checks rather than a large lump sum. Her initial plan was to get 20 payments in a span of 20 years. However, after 5 years, an annual payout of $47,800 just wasn't enough, and she was in major debt. Because of all of her debt, she had used all of her future payouts as collateral for a $200,000 loan. Mullins later changed from annual payouts to a lump sum, but refused to pay off her debts. The loan company ended up suing her for $154,000, but they have yet to receive anything because she has no assets left. Number 3. Billy Bob Harrell Jr. Carroll was a Pentecostal preacher and working at a local Home Depot when he had a stroke of luck and won a $31 million jackpot in 1997. Soon after winning his millions, he bought 6 homes, plus a ranch and a bunch of new cars. Years later, after a messy divorce and the loss of most of his winnings, he sadly ended up committing suicide. The stress was just too much for him to handle. Number 2. Michael Carroll. Carroll has blown all 9.7 million pounds of the jackpot that he had won back in 2002. When he first won the lottery, he spent tons of money on gifts for family and friends, which is quite common for lottery winners to do. Not long after that, however, he developed a very lavish spending habit and spent a large portion of his money on cars, cocaine, parties, and prostitutes that he would normally hire for up to 4 days at a time. He also developed a gambling habit and spent millions betting on dog and horse racing. By 2008, he was down to just 500,000 pounds. Today, Carroll lives off 42 pounds a week. Number 1. Vivian Nicholson. In 1961, when Nicholson won 152,000 pounds, which is equal to approximately 3 million pounds today, she was playing the Castleford football pool. And right after winning, she said that she would spend, and she did just that. In fact, in not even 5 years, she blew all her money on cars, expensive vacations, and designer dresses. Since then, she has been married a total of 5 times, deported from Malta, suffered a stroke, not of luck, and has spent time in a mental hospital after trying to commit suicide. She now lives off a weekly pension of 87 pounds. Do you agree with our list? Have you ever spent way too much money way too fast? Let us know in the comments and feel free to subscribe for more videos. Spend wisely, everyone.